It's Monday, March 31st, 2025, and this is episode 332 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Well, Dr. Mike, I am now officially down for gambling for the year. Unfortunately, went to Hamul last night, played craps, was just doing a 3-point molly. I texted you about it. It wasn't a situation where it was like 3 numbers out, or even immediate 7 outs. I was winning some wagers, but every shooter was a loser. You know, I'd only win 1, 2, or none of my pass line or come bets. So, yeah, I'm down now.
Yeah, that's rough. And that was quick, too.
Oh, I know.
I remember you told me, we're out at Hamul. And then, 10 minutes later, I've lost. We're
heading home.
What?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I thought, this is going to be the year because my first trip out to Squan was a winner and I'm doing good in poker. I don't count poker in my gambling.
No, because that's skill.
Exactly. So.
And that's like taking money from babies.
Oh, yeah. And by babies, you mean everybody that I play poker with on Tuesday nights. So hopefully some are listening. You bunch of babies.
Well, it was babies when it was was there every night. And there are certain other people who were good for a donation.
Yeah, right? There's certain newborns that were really easy to take money from. But, all right. Anyway, speaking of poker, hey, we had another good tournament. Gosh, Mike, it seems so long ago because we recorded right before the last one. But I think another good tournament, and it went very quickly too. It finished in like 3.5 hours, something like that. So I was very pleased for that. We didn't have some of the problems we had last time with players getting disconnected, that kind of thing. So another good tournament. First place was ACM Sox 18. Congratulations. Second place was B Moss 80. And third place went to Zach Went All In. We're actually going to hear a phone call from him later. 2 by 200 took me out and got the bounty. And Debits and Credits, a.k.a. Dr. Taylor, our buddy, took you out, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, he was doing quite well for a while, and I thought he was going to make it to, the end there, and then it seemed to go bad for him.
He made it to the final table, didn't he? I can't remember.
He did. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, you went out in 47th place, and I had my worst tournament ever going out in 98th place. What do we have? 136 players, I think?
Something like that.
You know, when you play poker a lot, of course your bottom line and how much you won is important, but really you think about, did I play well? Because anything can happen in poker, right? Did I play well? I think I did. It's just, I'd raise pre-flop. I'd get a lot of callers. I think a lot of people wanted to take me out. So that's, kind of different how you and I have to play in this because, a lot of people are gunning for it.
Yeah, they want that bounty.
And almost every time the flop would miss me, and with the number of players still in the hand, it's like, how aggressive can I be? Right? If I bet here, I'm going to get at least one caller and I've missed the flop. Anyway, I think I played well, but 98.
Well, to play devil's advocate a little here, Mark, your position really determines how well you played.
My position. Oh, you mean finishing 98? It's terrible. I played terribly.
That's the bottom line. You didn't play your best poker.
I felt so bad because before the tournament started, Tim Lawson, he said, I can't play in the tournament this time, but for every player that finishes ahead of Mark, I'll donate $5 to Dr. Mike's school fund. Say, okay, great. I finished in 98th, my worst one ever.
Yes.
I had to go on. Sorry, Tim.
I felt bad for that, really, and I want to say thank you so much to Tim.
Yeah, it was a nice donation to your school fund.
It was wonderful, but I felt bad for him because it was like, that's not good.
And, before the tournament started, I said, should I just tank it then? So we get a big donation. I wasn't trying to tank it, but
No, you would never do that because your pride of finishing high is way more important to you than
any charity,
than any money or charity or anything.
That's true. Yeah.
For all of us, really. I mean, this is one of those things where, it's kind of like boasting rights.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Absolutely. If either of us ever wins the thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to. Then I'm done. If I ever win, especially if I won before you, I'd never play again.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't make it.
Can't make it. What? I see you're online. All right. Speaking of charities, listener Richard, as he often does, made a $100 donation to the charity of the winner's choice, and ACM Sox 18 chose St. Jude, a fantastic children's research hospital that I believe has been a previous recipient of Richard's generosity. I think another winner also picked St. Jude.
Yeah, wonderful place to donate to. Yeah.
All right, so next tournament will be the Sunday before the NFL season starts. So we will see you then. Hope you can make it.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
Well, Mike Jim from New York, our buddy, contacted us on Twitter, or X, sent us a message. He mentioned that Poe Danny, I think is how you say it, that dealer at Planet Hollywood, who I think's the best dealer I ever saw, craps dealer.
Oh, she was fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. She no longer works at Planet Hollywood. He didn't have any more information, but we won't see Poe Danny again there.
If she's still in Vegas, we might run into her.
Yeah, it's an uncommon enough name that, if we saw her name tag.
She's a very pretty woman, too, so it's not hard to remember.
I imagine she'd be dealing in some of the high-end places, so, maybe if we checked out Wynn or even Bellagio or, something.
Right.
Jim also mentioned he found out Spike and Teabag, from the two morons talking about casinos and stuff, they used to work at Planet Hollywood. That's where they started their podcast. Mm-hmm. And I think Teabag moved to Caesar's Palace for a little while. Well, both of them have left Caesar's Entertainment, and they're now both working at Fontainebleau. So, and they haven't done their show for a while. I'm guessing they're pretty much done. It's hard to, once you've done the podcast and you see the amount of work that it takes and you take an extended break, it's kind of hard to get back into it. Hey, Vito did it. Vito's back. But
Vito did it. But, they're younger than us and they have lives.
Well, they're younger, but they may be in their 30s or 40s. They're not like youths.
No. But I mean, they're still young enough where they can juggle a lot of stuff because they've got children probably and wives and all the things that go with that, right? That takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it definitely does.
We being that our kids are grown up and stuff, we have a little more freedom in that respect.
Yeah. We started this thing, 12 some years ago when the kids were little.
Yeah, when the kids were little.
But anyway, their show was very entertaining. Insider information. They were both very funny. So anyway, they're at Fontainebleau now. See if you can track them down. Dr. Mike, we've got more topics here in the show notes, as you can see. But shoot, we got so many voicemails since our last episode. I think we should just move on to the voicemails and save the rest of the topics for next time. What do you think?
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay.
I know you won't forget about them because you always...
Oh, yeah. Hopefully I won't. Remind me if I'll leave it up to you. I don't know how reliable that is.
Leaving it up to me is not a good idea.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. YouCanBetOnThat.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, first up is Zach.
Dr. Mike, this is Zach. My username is Zach Went All In for the tournament. It was great to play in the tournament with you all yesterday. I had a good run of luck and ended up in third place. Really fun tournament. I'm going with my dad to Vegas in June for the World Series of Poker. For my 40th birthday, he got me an entry to the Battle of the Ages tournament. So he's in the 50 and above and I'm in the 50 and below. Hopefully we'll meet in day 2, but great to get some practice and make a deep run in your tournament. Yeah, one really funny thing that happened was, I don't know if you guys meant to, but you had the video and audio turned on to start at the tournament. And a buddy of mine let me know that firsthand he had pocket aces and he was sitting at the table with his wife and said, "My God, I've got aces." And then he realized he could hear the other players, but thankfully his audio was turned off. That was kind of an interesting option to have that video and audio on for the other players, but I don't know if we want to do that moving forward. I think most people ended up turning it off. But really fun tournament. Once we got down to 4, it got really tight and competitive, and the chips were swinging back and forth. I went all in with ace queen and lost to pocket sevens, a classic coin flip, but can't be too upset about that. Yeah, thanks for the tournament. It was super fun. I had one other question for you. I have dreams once every month or two about craps where there's someone that's just super hot and throwing can't miss one number after another. Do you ever have dreams about craps? Just me? Thanks, guys.
Do we ever have dreams about craps? Like every night.
Yeah, not every night for me, but a lot of nights. Mine are about 50-50. 50% of the time it's real happy and things are going great and there's huge stacks and it's a lot of fun. And the other times it's more anxiety, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Right way to, like, I can't figure out the odds.
Right.
Like, it's like, I don't know if I got paid right. And I'm trying to, now what would the odds be?
I know.
Things like that.
I think more of mine are anxiety inducing. I have like a really fabulous roll, maybe 10% of the time. Every other time it's like, well, wait a minute, where do I stand for this table? Oh, you don't use chips, you use sandwiches for the bets? Wait a minute, wasn't that a 5? How come we're using 4 dice? Yeah, it's always something weird.
Something weird, right? Oh, I actually kind of enjoy those. And when you're having it, it creates anxiety. You don't sleep well. But when you get up, it's kind of funny. You're like, oh, yeah, right. I couldn't figure out the odds on a 5 or something, like something really silly.
For whatever reason, a lot of mine have to do with like illegal craps games going on here in San Diego. It's like, oh, yeah, Mike, I found this place downtown. They deal, and, they use the dice instead of cards. It's great. And they're paying off the cops or something. I don't know why I have so many of those, but...
We're not going to see you on like Criminal Minds or something, are we? An episode of that?
On Criminal Minds, no, you're probably not going to see me or a character based on me on Criminal Minds because, again, these are my dreams.
Okay, just a little worrisome that they involve illegal gambling.
Yeah, no, it's not a dream about my real life. I'm not like trying to set up some illegal game. Yeah, Zach was talking about this Battle of the Ages tournament at the World Series of Poker. It sounds kind of fun, right? So 2 fields the first day, right? Players ages 50 and over, and then players under 50. That's the first day, and then they combine the fields for the second day and just play it out. So, yeah, it's kind of cool.
So it's just like a regular tournament the second day.
Yeah, it just ends up regular tournament. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. It should be a little more specific.
Like how?
Like there's 6 age groups on the first day, like, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, blah, blah, blah. And there's like the last group's like 80 and above. And then the 80 and above, whoever survives the first day goes against the 21 through 30 group.
Oh, kind of like seeding in a tournament?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And whoever survives that the next day, you add in the other people and drag it out for like a month, something like that, that the old people are bound to die.
All right. Yeah, that's true a lot. Well, we've lost 25% of the field. Why don't you write a letter, Dr. Mike?
Yeah, I think I will. This year more than ever, I've thought about it more like that's too grueling. If you really have a good run of luck and you're in the main event or something and you go, it's grueling. A lot of hours day after day.
Oh, I know, Mike. The $10,000 is a deterrent for me as well. But, oh, gosh, the main event. You got to play in the main event. I know it's, something bragging rights and what have you. But, oh, gosh, just the hours and the boredom. You know what it's like to play poker, right? I love playing poker, but after a while, especially just the same game over and over. Anyway.
Yeah, one day, if I did 10 hours of poker in one day and then had to go back the next day for another 10, I would dread it.
Oh, I know. And yet we could do it if it were a craps game.
Yeah, we could if it was a craps game.
10 hours each day.
You're involved in every role.
Yeah, it's more,
game, though.
More action. Yeah.
Right? It's like, somebody's taking forever to decide and you pre-flop folded and you're sitting there, for 5 minutes while these 2 guys take forever to decide what they're going to do. It does get kind of boring.
Well, speaking of tournaments, Zach, congratulations coming in 3rd place. Yeah, PokerStars had this new feature where players at the same table could have audio and video on, or one or the other, so that they could communicate, during the hand. And it might work better if it really was a home game, like it was one table and it was just, you all knew each other and you wanted to just talk rather than having to use Zoom or, something like that. But it was kind of awkward. I didn't like the interface. When you had it on, you couldn't participate in the chat. So I'll disable that next time. We won't have that as an option. So.
Well, the thing about it is, too, I think some people at the beginning didn't realize.
Oh, yeah, that happened in my table. I heard, I've got pair 6s. I was trying to say, your mic's on.
Yeah. Well, you're telling your family or whoever else is in the room. Yeah, that didn't work out so well in that respect.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Steven from Texas, and I'm making my first casino trip to Southern California, tying into my wife's work trip to San Diego. I was just going to ask for your advice or opinion on what the best casino might be for craps player midweek near the San Diego area. I've got some Caesars or comp dollars from them, but didn't know if that weighed into your opinion or not. But overall, just the best casino you could recommend midweek near San Diego. Thanks for all you do. Take care.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with this because my initial answer is, well, Harrah's Southern California, but it is a bit of a drive.
Yes, and that road, might be a little...
Some people don't like that last part of the drive.
Yeah, it might be a little intimidating for some people. I mean, it's not terrible, I don't think.
No, and it doesn't go that long.
Like, certain people didn't like it, and if you're going to drive all that way, you're kind of committed once you get to that point. Probably, Mark, Verona.
Yeah, see, that was the other thing. I was thinking maybe Verona. I haven't played enough craps there to really say one way or the other, but Verona would be good.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to take that back.
Okay.
I think if you're visiting San Diego and you're in downtown San Diego, Viejas is easy to get to.
Okay, again, I haven't played craps there in a long time. I don't even know what their midday craps thing is like. I mean...
I don't either, but I mean, I'm just thinking about like driving, you get on Highway 8 and you just drive until that one exit.
It is nice
right
that it's freeway the whole way, virtually.
Yeah, it's not like going to Jamul. Well,
Jamul's road is not bad, and it is the quickest to get to from downtown San Diego.
And I'm thinking like an old person, but now with, cell phones, you can just follow the directions.
Oh, yeah. And
it doesn't have to be particularly easy to get to.
I guess I am going to say Jamul because they do have 2 tables. A lot of the casinos in this area only have 1 craps table, or there's only one open. And it's like that's the thing. When I'm thinking
one
midweek,
open
right?
too.
So Jamul will have 1 open for sure, and I want to say as the afternoon goes on, they open a second one.
Like at 4 or 5 or something.
If the drive doesn't matter to you, Harrah's, if the drive does matter to you, and getting to Jamul, it's less than half the time to getting to Harrah's. I'll go with Jamul. Yeah, they have 10 times odds. So,
if you want to play craps, then it's Harrah's, right?
But again, I haven't been there in so long, Mike. Next time you're out here, we'll go up there. But remember when we were there, you had to pay the VIG up front on buy bets, making crapless just absolutely terrible. So
yeah, but still a lot of people played it.
Oh, hey, I'm not saying they didn't, but
yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, good luck, Stephen. All right, next we've got a Macau report from Dylan.
Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Dylan from Houston. Went on vacation to Thailand, flew through Hong Kong airport, had to stay 1 night in Macau. Stayed at Studio City. It's on the Cotai Strip. It was $140 all in for the room. The room came with a lot of amenities, toiletries, razor, toothbrush. There was beer and sodas and stuff like that in the mini fridge. Snacks on the counter, cup noodles, M&Ms, all free. The gambling was pretty expensive. 500 Hong Kong dollars was kind of the average. I did see as low as 300, but not at the property that I stayed at. 500 Hong Kong dollars is roughly like $65 minimum. There's 2 currencies over there. If you want to gamble, you have to have Hong Kong dollars. Everything else, they use the Macau Pataka. So cab rides and convenience store purchases, things outside the casinos, you're going to kind of need both. The casino I stayed at did have craps, but I was unable to play because I had waited so late into the night and the table was no longer open. Did get to play blackjack, worst blackjack rules I'd ever seen in my life. The dealer only takes 1 card and then hands the players 2 cards. And I drew to a 21 at one point. thinking like, okay, that's good. And then the dealer drew a blackjack, and it was a loss. I'd never seen that before, and that left a bad taste in my mouth, so I would recommend not playing blackjack in Macau. I did see a poker table at the Wynn. So there's a Wynn Palace on the Cotai Strip where I stayed, and then there's a Wynn downtown Macau. I went to the Wynn downtown Macau, saw the poker room. It's more of a poker area right in the middle of the casino floor. And they had, I think it was 25, 50 Hong Kong dollar blinds for the cash games, and that's roughly like a 3-6 game. So I didn't get a chance to play because my time was so short, but I would recommend that being probably the most economical way to gamble over there if you're going to. Other than the gambling, though, I would say everything over there is probably kind of on par with American prices, even maybe cheaper than Vegas. The buildings are bigger, more beautiful, cleaner, but the vibe isn't as fun, if that makes sense. Anyways, as always, love the show, and maybe one day I'll have the honor of gambling with you guys one day. Thanks.
Yeah, we've heard that the vibe is different. It's a different culture.
Well, it's a more serious.
Yes, right. You won't hear the screaming culture and the woo and all that stuff. So it is a little bit different. Dylan did mention in an email that all the tables he saw used a continuous shuffling machine. English is very prevalent among the staff, and service is fantastic. We've heard that from many reports that service is just top notch.
Well, a room for $140 with free drinks and snacks and stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
You know what they need to have is a international gambling currency.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So no matter where you go in the world, you can use Mike dollars.
Oh, Mike dollars. Okay. And then you get a little...
Yeah. DMDs. They call them DMDs, Dr. Mike dollars.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll have 1,000 Dr. Mike dollars. Yeah.
And then you charge.
And it's just,
Okay. It's just 10%.
Yeah, I charge a little.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No. It would be like 1%.
Oh, you're so good.
Because I'm going to do it out of my house here, so... Sending money all over the world. How many Dr. Mike dollars would you like?
Phone's ringing all the time. Your computer's on fire.
Yeah.
Well, Dylan was talking about how they dealt blackjack over there. That's very common in Europe. In fact, some people call it European blackjack, where the dealer does not take a down card initially.
Mm-hmm.
That's not advantageous for the player because in most cases, if you double down or split, do something to increase your bet, and the dealer ends up having a blackjack, you lose all those additional bets, double down it, right? Whereas in America, right, if the dealer has blackjack, they'll turn it over right away after they ask for insurance. Now, there may be some casinos that deal European blackjack that will return any additional bets that you make, like for doubling or splitting. But you'd have to ask. It's good for the casino in that the dealer is not giving away what their down card is. They haven't looked at it all, so they're not giving away from in a facial expression or anything like that. And it's good for the casino because they'll win these extra bets. It's bad for the casino in that it takes longer to get through hands because you've got to go around and ask everybody for a decision, where in an American blackjack, if they've got blackjack, they'll show it right away and they'll move on to the next hand.
Yeah. Well, I guess their main concern then is cheating, right? Because you can't have a dealer cheating for a player if the dealer hasn't seen what his hand he has.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Giving eye signals or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that report, Dylan. Next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. I just wanted to give you a recent trip update I had to Reno. Kind of interesting. The first thing I saw on my trip was the pit bosses all up in arms at the Calneva for somebody sliding dice on the craps table. I did have, playing a single blackjack game on the fresh shuffle, I got a blackjack the first hand, got a blackjack the second hand, and a blackjack the third hand out of 3 deals of that single deck. What are the odds? And then I just have a real quick question. Am I the jerk in this situation? I was playing blackjack with a couple of ladies. The dealer had an ace up. I had a 14. I busted my hand. The lady to my left had a 14. The lady to her left had a 20. The dealer flips his ace, gets a 6, takes an 8, and then takes an ace. Miscounts his hand, thinks he has 17, he only had 16. Starts paying the woman with 20. I'm like, sir, dealer, you only have 16 up there. To which he recounts his hand, promptly draws a card, and lo and behold, it's a 5. The two ladies went from getting paid to losing their bets, and they were furious with me. Am I the jerk? Thanks for all you do, Mark and Mike. Have a great day.
All right. Yeah, you're kind of the jerk here, especially since you weren't even involved in the hand anymore. You'd already busted.
Yeah, but I see his point. With me, and maybe with you even, Mark, what it would be is like, before you even think it through, you just, wait, that's only 16.
Yeah, I could see myself doing this, sure.
Yeah,
and then feeling bad afterwards.
Right.
But, yeah, I understand. I've got kind of that
You're
same...
only the jerk if you did that intentionally.
Right, because you hate the people who are playing.
Because, you just didn't like them or the way they were playing. But
it's up to the dealer to catch things like that. Anyway. And then he asked, what are the odds of getting 3 blackjacks in a row? I'm sure it was a rhetorical question. But as you know, I don't understand rhetorical questions. I have to answer every question that's asked. Hitting 3 in a row, it's about 1 in 22,500. So there you go.
Yeah. It's not as bad as, buying a lottery ticket, but...
No. Okay, next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. I thought an interesting topic would be times that you get overpaid at the craps table. And I've had 3 in the last couple of years that I think are pretty interesting. A friend of mine and I were at Park MGM on a slow time at a crapless table. We were both on one side of the table, and there was one shooter on the other side of the table, and that was it. Well, the guy makes the point, and so we're on a new come-out roll. The shooter rolls the dice, and he rolls a 3. My friend and I each had $50 on the 3, and the dealer pays us out $150 each when the puck was off and it was the come-out roll. And I look over at my friend, and he has no idea what just happened. So then the shooter gets the dice again, and he rolls an 8. And then the dealer looks and is trying to figure out what the point is, and she looks at the other end of the table and sees it's a 3. So she sets the point as 3 and just goes about her day and doesn't realize that she paid us when she shouldn't have. The second time I got overpaid, I was at MGM National Harbor. I had a $50 5. The shooter rolled a 5, so they pay me 70. I press to 100 and collect 20. They pay the other person their 5 bet. And then the stick person says something to the dealer, and then all of a sudden the dealer cuts out $140 and pays me again, and the dice haven't even rolled. And then they also pay the other person. And I kind of give him a knowing glance, and we kind of look at each other and catch each other's eyes, and we're like, wow, we just got double paid. That was crazy. But the best one was I was at Harrah's in Atlantic City, and I had $180 on each 6 and 8. The dealer rolls an 8, and I regressed both my 6 and 8 down to $60. But once the dealer gives my chips back, I realized they didn't give me the other black chip off of the 8, and I'm sitting there with a $160 8. Well, before I can correct it, the dice are pushed out to the shooter at the other end of the table, and I'm like, well, even if they roll a 7 now, I can just tell the dealer, hey, you made a mistake, you owe me that chip. I'm sure they would honor it. But what happened is I never suspected the guy rolls another 8. So now the dealer pays the other bets. He looks at my bet and he goes, wait, how do you have 160 on the 8? I go, yeah, how is that? I just play dumb. So he puts $20 more on my 8 to make it 180, pays it out 210. So now I basically get paid $230 on a bet that should have paid me 70. Anyway, I thought those were interesting things to talk about. Thanks.
Yeah, that's the ethical dilemma that we've talked about on the show, and even going back to the previous call too. What happens when dealers make a mistake in your favor? Everybody's going to have their different opinion. Dr. Mike, you and I, for the most part, say, well, it's the casino and the dealer's responsibility to pay correctly. So if they make a mistake, we'll just take it. But what about this situation where there was a black chip left on this bet? What was it, $160 8? He said, how come you have 160 on it? And he asked our caller, well, how do you have $160 8? And the caller just said, yeah, why do I? Now, this is a little more information, right? You're playing dumb. You know what happened. So is this ethically even worse? I mean, I guess it is ethically worse, but is it okay to say, yeah, what's going on when you know what's going on? Or is this a situation where you speak up and you say, oh, you forgot to take the $100 chip off? What do you think, Dr. Mike?
Well, I'm going to preface my answer by saying that as human beings, we all look for ways to justify the end, right? A way to justify what we're doing to get the end result that we'd like to see happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I don't think I would really say it's bad just to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
And play dumb. And here's how I justified in my mind. They're going to get my money anyway.
Sure. You can always use that as a bottom line for
because that is
rationalizing
the bottom line,
any of these. Yeah.
What's going to happen, right? In the long run, I don't know that little extra bit is going to help me much.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get my money probably anyway. I don't have a problem with little stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if you can sweat that. I will say this, though. Confusion is your ally.
Oh, gosh.
Craps table.
Mike, how many times have the dealers failed to take my losing come bets on the come out roll because they are so fixated on your center action?
Yes.
You've actually made money for me.
Tons, Mark. I mean, tons of times that I'd have so much on the center action and it'd be like a 7 and they're immediately all trying to figure out, well, how much does he get? Because he lost these and he won that. And they just all forget about your comebacks and they leave them up there. It's one of those things where confusion is your ally.
Yep, for sure.
And that could be the dealer being new, inexperienced, the pit boss not paying attention, or the other dealer's not watching the new guy. Or, they're fixated on one person's bets and they miss the other people's. The case of being paid twice, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how that happened.
I mean, it's the stick man. I mean, it's the dealer thinking that, I missed a roll. The stick man's telling him, hey, you got to pay that bet. Oh,
well,
I didn't realize.
And he probably, stick man's watching the other side of the table,
that could
maybe,
be too,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy says, did you pay the 9? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Like another 9 rolled, right? Oh, I paid the first one. I didn't pay the second one. Well, there wasn't a second one, but they didn't really make it clear to each other that it was the same roll.
Plus, it's not just the dealers. The box should be watching for this thing. And if there is no box, well, that's on the casino.
Right. That's on the casino. I bet you in this case where you got paid twice, there was no box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next call.
Hey, enjoy your podcast. Wondering if you guys have talked about the craps in Northern California, how they are just placing the cards 1 through 6 on the dice number 1 through 6. So essentially you're playing true craps where their dice determine the outcome because the cards correspond to each number on the dice. Anyway, love to hear back.
Yes, we have talked about this. It started down here at Hamul, and then a few other casinos started doing it, and then they stopped. Somebody said, nope, you can't do that. We got different stories as to how it happened, but they stopped doing it. And then we heard from a caller a little while ago that, yes, it was happening now in Northern California. So I'm guessing that it'll be the same kind of thing. Well, they'll do it for a while they can get away with it, and then somebody will come in and say, no, you can't do it. Or it'll start spreading more. I guess the third option is that it just stays in Northern California, but the casinos are very competitive when it comes to wanting to do this. So,
right. You either got to have nobody do it or everybody do it, because if one person's doing it, everyone's going to go there and the other casinos are going to be pissed off and complain about it.
Yep. All right. Next up is Joseph.
Hey guys, this is Joseph from Grand Prairie, Texas, right outside of Dallas. So first of all, thanks for hosting the tournament this past weekend. It was fun. I introduced a friend of mine to your podcast, and she ended up playing in the tournament. She goes by Jules 400. I play against her on Poker Stars, and she can be a beast, but unfortunately, like you, Mark, she had a rough tournament. And I was actually at your table as Little Joe 71. I ended up 31st. Could have been better, could have been worse, but it was fun. I have Vegas coming up in May, so hopefully I have something good to report. Until then, appreciate the episodes of the tournament, and you guys take care. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Joseph, and good luck on your trip.
Thanks. Hopefully it'll go well.
All right, next call.
What's up, guys? It's Jake again, here from Southern California. Just heard the last podcast. Thank you guys so much for playing my voicemail. So I've been a Caesar Rewards member for a while. I've been going to Vegas for a couple of years now. But I've been noticing that how Caesar Rewards has dropped off drastically ever since after COVID. And I know there's the competition of MGM. I know a lot of people have been switching over from Caesars to MGM or even to the Venetian or even the Wynn. I've been contemplating it. This year alone, I've already reached Platinum member. I've been 7 stars once ever in like the last 5 years going with Caesars. And I just mean as in, not that it's become much harder to reach higher levels, but just based regards off of comps and especially room comps. They used to give out a lot of rooms in the past, but I've been hearing a lot of good things about MGM. You know, they give out more. You know, they offer you better deals. But, I mean, the only thing that I've been sticking with Caesars, usually when I go to Vegas, I tend to stay at the Paris. I think it's honestly the best bang for your buck property in Vegas, to be completely honest with you. I feel like Caesars Palace, with the rooms and amenities, has kind of dropped down in value. That's just my opinion. But I kind of want to get your guys' opinion. Who do you guys think has now the better Players Club membership? And who offers more, or like what is your best bang for buck for your average recreational gambler? And then also regarding my last question when I called in last week, my girlfriend did love Vegas. We are planning to go back again in August for my birthday. We're going to go with a couple of buddies and their girlfriends. We're actually going to be staying at Caesars Palace, believe it or not. But I'm thinking about probably switching over now to MGM. I'm not sure if they match your points, but, you know, it's something to take into consideration.
You got cut off there at the 3 minutes. Don't expect a tier match from MGM. But we've also heard that MGM is giving you more than Caesars as far as a Players Club
currently
goes. Yeah. Now, at the same time, we still see Caesars as being the best Players Club when it comes to free rooms. He was talking about how maybe they've cut back on that a little bit, but I think that's still true. At least when I've gone online, they like giving away rooms.
Yeah. And lately, for whatever reason, I've been getting a lot of airfare offers, like, you know, we'll pay your airfare.
From Caesars?
To Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
Vegas, Laughlin, St. Louis, a few other
okay.
Caesars properties, like $600 voucher for airfare or something.
Good. Okay.
You know, I went to that Isle Casino in Waterloo a couple times, and recently I've been starting to get a lot of flyers from them.
Okay. Yeah, that probably is help.
About every week I could get like $150 free play. I think Caesar still does give a lot, maybe not as much as they used to. I'll tell you what I don't like.
Yes.
I don't like that nowadays Diamond is like, there's regular Diamond, and then there's Diamond something or other, and then there's Diamond Elite.
Yeah.
They seems like over the years they've kind of chopped up the levels into more parts.
They definitely
so they can
have.
be more discretionary.
Yeah.
You know, so they can say, well, you're just a regular Diamond. And, you know, when you get up to Diamond Elite or something, you're going to get more comps or this or that or something.
Saying. Okay.
But it used to just be, oh, you're a Diamond. Oh, yeah. Great. You know, here, we give you all this stuff. Now it's like whatever Diamond level you're at matters.
Yeah.
Just make 4 levels. And if when you get to one level, you're in that level.
Yeah. Okay. Next up is our buddy Bert.
Mark, Dr. Mike, it's Bert from Virginia again. My wife and I just got back from a little one-day trip. The Caesars in Danville, Virginia was having a 10x multiplier for tier credits. So it started on Monday at 12:01 a.m. So I decided to go down Sunday and hang out all day on Sunday. And then at 12:01, we would hit the casino and try to earn some tier credits to try to keep this diamond that I earn. I know you've had a lot of reports about the place, but it is absolutely beautiful. It really is. I mean, it's brand new. It so reminds me of Caesars in Atlantic City, Caesars Palace in Vegas. All the decorations. I mean, it's clean. It smells good. It's just a really cool place. One thing that I don't like, the entire place is smoking. They don't have a sectioned off non-smoking section. We asked several people and they said they don't have one. Because we were there on a Sunday, it wasn't too hard to sort of find a nook where we could get away from smokers, but If you were there on a busy night, it would probably be difficult if you're someone who doesn't like smoke to deal with that. But other things we noticed with the casino is not huge, but it has all the newest games you would ever want. The slot machines, anyway. It has all the new games that are out all there. Pretty nicely spaced out. As far as craps, they have 6 tables, 4 regular tables, 2 crapless tables. They have the all tall small, but they have the low pan version. We were there Sunday night. There were 2 tables open, one of the crapless, one of the regular tables. They were both packed. They were both the quarter tables. Just couldn't even get close to them. There were people already waiting to get on those. Monday morning till about midday, the table was $15. Only one was open, and that one was packed. And people were waiting to get on that one. So I never got a chance to actually play craps there, but tables look good. The dealers seemed to know what they were doing. They have a really nice selection of table games. Most of the blackjack I saw was unfortunately 6 to 5. I did see a couple of Spanish 21 tables, but they were quarter tables as well, so I didn't even play those. But now that my primary game, when I can't get to a reasonable craps table, is video poker, that's the one place they're lacking. They have 2 pods, and by pod I mean, the little station where there may be 4 video poker terminal. That's even 6 video poker terminals on one little pod. And there's 2 of those beside each other in the back of the casino. And that's it. In the high limit room, there are 3 other terminals back there, but that's it for the entire place. They have the video poker bars, but the pay tables at the bars were awful. I was able to find a bonus deluxe table that was 9 to 6. Played that one for about 6 hours Sunday night and 6 hours today, and left there dead even. I think up like $11. So I enjoyed myself. Food options, they have a nice little food court called the 500 Street with 3 little options: pizza, burgers, and I forgot what the other one is. And then they have a spot in the back. It's like a burger, hot dog spot. They have a Gordon Ramsay restaurant there. Seems to be pretty high end. It's not the highest end Gordon Ramsay, but it was pretty decent. Ultimately, I would definitely go back. The place is really nice. The town is super small, but it's definitely something. If anyone's in the area looking for a place to get some Caesars points or just to play in a really nice environment, it's a good place to go. Like I said, I wouldn't go back on a Friday or Saturday. I like the Sunday better and the Monday because it wasn't crowded and we could get away if somebody came and sat down and lit up beside us, which did happen a couple of times. I'm quite saddened that Dr. Mike is not making his East Coast trip this year. I was very much looking forward to either meeting him in Cherokee or trying to connect with him somewhere. Hopefully he will have an opportunity to come this way or have an opportunity to come that way. So otherwise, you guys take care.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to meet up with you, Bert, here. Always great to hear from Bert.
I'd love to meet up with him and play a little bit.
Yeah, Caesars, Virginia, still making a big splash. Sounds like a great addition to that area.
He said at the beginning, Bert said that the casino's new and nice and clean.
Yeah.
And when he was saying that, I was thinking to myself, I wish more casinos would put more effort into keeping things looking nice.
Yeah.
Especially Caesars.
Especially
casinos.
Caesars, yeah.
And I don't know, Mark, if you were watching the Padre game, the whole game last night.
Not last night, no.
Second game of the season.
Yeah.
I watched the whole game. And at one point, they had on the new chairman of the board or whatever. Peter Seidler was the chairman, and he passed away last year. Yeah. And his younger brother, John, is now taking over that position. And they had him on there for the first time. And the announcer said something like, well, Petco Park always looks like it's brand new.
Oh, I did. I was watching when they talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been open like 23 years, something like that, 23 years. Yeah. And it still looks like it's brand new.
Yeah.
And he was saying, well, they put every offseason millions of dollars, and every year for the last, 10 or so, they've added something new to the stadium, and they're always upgrading it and keeping it up. So it's not like one of these places that open and it's great for the first 10 years and then it starts to get run down, then they tear it down and build a new one. They're constantly working on it.
Yeah.
That's great because people love to go when it looks new and clean and everything. It just puts you in a better mood. I think it's money well invested. That hits me before like, oh, I lost money there.
Yeah.
I just get a better feeling there.
Sounds like you need to go to Macau, Dr. Mike.
Maybe.
Keep hearing nice things.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm up for that trip, but I'd like to see places kept up.
Yeah.
And the smoking thing, I'd prefer they all be non-smoking. Oh, didn't I mention the last time when my daughter and her friend and I went to Mystic Lake? Did I mention that it's non-smoking?
I don't think you did, no.
Okay, yeah, it's a huge casino, but it's non-smoking.
Nice.
They have designated outside areas where you have to go to smoke. So in almost all the entrances, there's like 20 people out there smoking, right?
Yeah.
But once you get in the casino, there's no smoke. It's kind of nice, especially for that big a casino. I thought, well, sometimes they try and say, oh, this portion over here is non. But no, it's all non-smoking, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And as long as we're talking about it, I did forget to mention the hot dog cart. I did see it. I just forgot to mention
That's
it.
right. Zach online said, hey, Mike didn't mention the hot dog cart at Mystic Lake. Yeah.
We had already eaten, so we weren't really hungry. So I didn't get a hot dog, although I saw the lady going around selling hot dogs. Yeah. Our casino's going to be different, though. We're going to have a bunch of different carts, Mark.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be a sushi cart, and there'll be a hot dog cart.
Yeah.
And there'll be, whatever.
Like a Euro cart and a hamburger cart and a popcorn cart.
Well, I don't know if we want hamburger or Euro. It might be a little greasy on the cards, but we'll get a variety of carts.
Okay. Add it to the list.
And we'll have a big board that tells you hot dog cart is now on aisle 33. Moving to 34.
Yeah, we'll be at your location in 5 minutes. It'll actually be displayed on the slot you're playing.
Yeah, you'll get like a 30-second warning on your slot. Hot dog cart approaching. Hot dog cart approaching. Press the button if you need a hot dog.
All right, let's hear from Nate.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Nate here from Atlanta, and I wanted to give you a trip report from my San Diego You Can Bet on That Casino Tour Spectacular. I was out there for a conference and thought I'd hit up a bunch of the places that you guys talk about. First up was Harrah's, Southern California, where I stayed the night before the conference. It was great. I got a comp room, no resort fees that they charge you, and I got upgraded into a suite. So it was awesome. The casino itself was pretty good, exactly what you'd expect from a Harrah's. I won a few $100, although between it being card craps and there just being a weird crowd at the craps table, I never did wind up playing any craps there. Next, I checked out Sycuan. Nice place. I like to ease in to my gambling by playing some video poker, grabbing a drink. I did that. Cashed out my Tito, winning a little bit of money. I caught a slot machine, so I was like, okay, I'll play this. Won a little bit more money, cashed out the Tito ticket, and then went and redeemed those for cash. And on my way to play craps, I saw a enticing double deck game, which was a bad idea because I got absolutely wrecked at it. And worse, I was waiting for my drink that never came. And instead of just sitting there walking away like I was supposed to, I wound up playing even more and got wrecked even more. So very disappointed with myself, and I decided to leave and go check out Jamul. I gotta tell you, Jamul is the most stressful casino I've ever been in. The parking situation was very stressful, and the inside of that place, I'm surprised it's legal to pack in that much slot machines that tightly. Everything was just crammed in there. You throw in all the people, it's impossible to navigate around anywhere. Apparently all of Southern California smokes and goes to Jamul. It was not pleasant at all. The craps table was about too deep to get on it. So I actually was going to leave, but then noticed that the double deck game paid $3-2 and had a $15 minimum. So I was like, all right, I don't see that very often. Decided to go ahead and play. I also learned that they offer surrender. So those tables have the best games I've played outside of a high limit room anywhere. I won money, but I couldn't wait to get out of there. Way too smoky, way too stressful, way too crowded. Despite the great rules, I don't think I will be going back there. An embarrassing little story was back at Sycuan. When I got to the blackjack table, I was about $200 short, which is what my Tito from the games was for. So I thought maybe I'd been distracted and left my cash in the machine. I brought this up to the floor manager. The floor manager called security. Security looked at the tapes. Like, nope, you put it in your pocket. Maybe it dropped somewhere. I couldn't find it. I was a little bit bummed about that. Got back to my car and looked in my bag. The $200 was sitting there the whole time. So, like an idiot, I raised a stink. Well, not really a stink, but got people to look at it, and it was all my fault.
All right, great. Thanks, Nate. You know,
that happens.
I don't disagree with anything he said about Jamul, even though earlier I said, oh, that's probably the best place to play weekday craps. Because they've got such a small footprint, where they were able to build.
Yes.
So their parking structure is...
that parking structure is weird.
It's underground. So, you do have to kind of maneuver through there. It is tight. It is, without a doubt, the smokiest casino in San Diego.
Yes.
But, it's got some good qualities. It's got a good food court. For a while, they were giving me some good comps. The dealers are good. I have a good time at the craps tables there anyway. But I don't disagree.
The food is good there. The food is good there.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very popular casino. I don't know if it's the smoking or if it's the good rules, but if you go there on a Friday, Saturday night or something, it's packed.
Oh, it is packed.
Yeah, it's hard to move around. Yeah. You go midweek, if you get there early, like on a Friday, like at 2 or something, it's not that bad.
No, it's not too bad. Yeah. I thought it was funny he was talking about the weird crowd at the craps table at Harrah's. So we haven't been in a while, but it was a weird crowd, I guess.
Yeah, he probably ran into some people that are good friends of ours that have little quirks. Yeah.
All right, next up is Jason.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Jason again from North Carolina, calling you with a trip report. All right, so this past weekend was the first weekend of March Madness. Yes. My favorite sports time of the year. I went up to Caesars, Virginia. Now it's my first time being there where it's actually fully open. All the slot machines are all out from the tent casino, all put into the main casino, and that place was rocking. It was a great trip. Had some great hands on blackjack, great runs in roulette, and even had some nice fun little sports bets. Yeah, it was just an excellent time, guys. And with baseball starting back up this week, actually starts today. I hope the Padres do well, as well as my Nationals. We'll see. It's a fun new season. And also, I did put a $1 futures bet on the Padres winning the World Series. So this year is their year. I won about $29. And how about this? If I win, if they win, I'll donate that to the show. So you guys keep rooting for the Padres. Wish you guys the best. Caesars, Virginia, one of my new favorite spots in the Southeast. All right. Have a good day, guys.
All right, there you go. Caesars, Virginia again.
Thanks.
Sounds like Jason got plus 2,900 on the Padres to win the World Series. I've seen lower amounts, plus 2,500, things like that. So that's a pretty good bet.
Which isn't bad, actually. It sounds like, they don't have a chance, but most people are like way more than 2,500.
And the Padres are off to a good start. It's only 2 games into the season as we record this. But, the problem with this season, it's the Dodgers. It's that the Dodgers are in our same division.
Well, it's been the Padres' problem for the last, ever.
Yeah.
They spend a ton of money. They have all the best players.
Oh, that last year they were great, and they're probably better this year.
Yeah, well, they're favored to win the World Series again. They're much better this year. Yeah. They picked up good pitching, and they picked up a few bats, and you just got to deal with what you got to deal with, right?
Sure.
So, if we get in as a wild card, that's fine. But... You never know.
Yeah, we've upset them in the past for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
We beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's great to have baseball back.
Yeah.
All right. Last call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Richard calling from Lawrence, Kansas. Just calling real quick. I've been listening for a couple of years, and a couple of episodes ago, you had a caller come in who had mentioned he was going back into your archives and had come across episode number 44, which I think it was called Tabletop Puncher. Had listened to it and thought it was great. So I was like, well, I should go back and listen to that. I've never gone back that far into your episodes. So went back and started listening to it. Starts off with that you're recording from Salt Lake City, which I was like, that's odd, but who knows? Maybe that's where they started recording from. What do I know? Start talking about placing a bet on over 130 wins for the Padres. So I thought, well, that must have been a good year for the Padres. And then seg into talking about what a great bet insurance on blackjack is, which is confusing me, but I continue on. Who knows? By the time you get to playing 20-number Keno and how great that is in restaurants, and by the time you get to the fact that Mark says he's spending $500 a week on the lottery, betting numbers that are due to show up, and what a smart bet that is, I'll admit, I was like, I should go back and check the date of this podcast, and there we have it. So, touche, you guys got me. Even 11 years later. Take care.
Yeah. Our goal there was to just continue to make it even more and more ridiculous. So by the time you got to the end of the episode, it's like, oh, okay. But I know there were some people who like got to the insurance part, paused, and, wrote a sternly worded letter to us like, insurance and blackjack is terrible unless you're counting it. But yeah, thanks. We had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. And what is April Fool's Day's? What, Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Coming up in a few days. I always think about that. I like some of the stuff, though. You playing the lottery. The day that you spend more than $5 on a lottery ticket is the day I'll stop gambling. I'll say that right now.
He's not wrong. He is not wrong.
The only way you're spending any money on the lottery is if I buy you a ticket.
That's right. Sometimes Mike buys me a ticket. Here you go. Here's a $10 quick ticket. Oh, thanks, Mike.
I force him to take it. Oh, that stupid lottery. They owe me so much.
Oh, Mike. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations from the International Brotherhood of Gobbling Donkeys, from Brian and Sarah, from Josh, and from the guys over at Crap Vegas. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from Dylan, who we heard from earlier. Just wanted to show appreciation for the show. Excited to hear about how the poker tournament went. Love the show as always, guys. Take care. So thank you very much, Dylan. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet on That merchandise. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
951-2-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at youcanbetonthat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. Dr. Mike?
Yes? Well, I have a few important things to say, Mark.
All right.
Number one, we had a caller last week, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name, but they were talking about how craps numbers might influence your life or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Like you'll see the numbers, when you're looking at things.
Yeah. And so last night when I was watching the second Padre game of the year, one of the announcers, Mark Grant, who, by the way, my wife just cannot stand because he's goofy.
He is goofy. I think he's great.
He is goofy. I like him.
Yeah.
But he is goofy.
Yeah,
and she doesn't like the goofiness.
I understand that.
Sometimes.
I understand people not
and he
like
gets
him.
a little on your nerves, as he gets more and more goofy. But I like him. And he was talking about something, and it was baseball related in the game. And he said something like, well, at that point, all bets are off. And I was watching the game on my phone because I had the two basketball games on the TV. And so my wife's sitting there, and under my breath, when he said that, I said, no, my bets are working. He said, all bets are off. And I said, no, my bets are working. And she, what? He's like, what are you talking about? I just, as soon as all bets are off, I'm like, no, I'm working.
Yeah, I'm on. Keep me on.
So there you go. That's how craps is always on my mind, even when I'm watching sports.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention is this NCAA tournament, which I am extremely disappointed in.
What?
Yeah, I mean, ones and twos.
Oh.
Ones and twos.
Not as many upsets
Final
as
eight,
here, yeah.
They're all ones and twos and 1-3. It's the lowest combined seeding of the final 8 ever.
Wow.
And, usually there's, even if the final 8 doesn't get like a 12 or a 10 seed or something, there's always like in the Sweet 16, a 12 seed, or there's been even 13 seeds to make this Sweet 16. They win 2 games and it makes it so exciting to watch those games. But these games they haven't been bad games.
Yeah, I think
it's one's playing 4s, 2's playing 3s, and the favorite wins.
Yeah.
The game looks close halfway through, and then in the second half, the favorite team pulls ahead and wins easily.
I see your point. I still think it's been a very entertaining tournament, especially, that first weekend. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
It always delivers,
it's
but you're
fun.
right. Maybe not as many underdogs.
Yeah, and I shouldn't even be saying this because I love sport. I'm going to watch all the games. I've watched them all that I can so far. I've seen pretty much a portion of every game so far. But I just love it when a lower seed creeps in there somehow.
Of course, yeah.
The Cinderella story. Well, like San Diego State, the year they went to the finals, right?
Yeah. Gosh, speaking of San Diego teams, Mike, this is the first time we've had to talk. Unfortunately, all 4 of our teams, San Diego State and UCSD, went out in the first round. Now, they were all underdogs.
Yeah.
But
they all made it, men and women.
Yeah, both. UC San Diego, the men, boy, I'll tell you, if they'd had a better first half, they might have won that game. They played a good game.
Well,
the others,
it was kind
very
of close at the end. Yeah. I'm just happy when they make it in.
Yes.
Because there's 300 and whatever Division I schools in basketball.
Yeah.
And when you make it into that tournament, the 2 teams in our town, one by their record, one by winning their conference, that's pretty good to make it in that 64 field of, well, it's not 64.
Well, but sometimes there's some play-ins, and some of our teams were play-in games. But men and women both schools. Oh yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so that's a good year, and just get to watch them one extra game. It's always fun. But anyway, usually I'm on edge of my seat waiting for the games to start. Now I'm just like, well, I'm going to watch them, of course, but. Yeah.
Okay.
And baseball's here, Mark. I got to say it.
So quit complaining. Baseball's here. You're fine.
We're 2-0 and we're a game behind the Dodgers.
Yeah, right. Because of those extra games we
haven't lost yet. We're already a game behind. Those 2 stinking games they played.
All right.
And they look awesome. I was watching their game last night too. Anyway, lots of sports going on. I hope a lot more gambling going on, but we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Goodbye.
Hey there, Ken from Tallahassee. Keep those 16s coming. I want to be completely broke in the next 4 seconds.